among some other things as well. J.J. Joe, Baylor Radio Color Analyst, former Baylor quarterback. J.J., it's not the definition of insanity, but watching Baylor, man, it is hard, and it does appear as if more and more, including today, that Dave Aranda it's got to be hard on him, but it's hard on the fan base, and it doesn't seem to be any glimmer of hope down the railroad tracks.
Yeah, hey, good to be on with you guys. Yeah, it's when you get in the loop, I'm not sure if I've seen a movie where you're in the loop. I think it was Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
With Bill Murray in it way back when, right? When he woke up, it was the same day. And that's kind of what each week seems like outside of maybe a couple of weeks. And Saturday was really no different. And Kansas State just kind of showed us, if you do this thing the right way, right? And you have a staff in place, there was some continuity, and you know exactly what your plan is on both sides. You recruit to it. You have a balanced roster, how you can stay competitive year after year. So I think watching what Kleiman is doing there was an education for all of us. And hopefully, man, we can get out of this loop. And the next two games, do we have the opportunity to win? Yes, we do. I mean, we could go to TCU and win. We could beat West Virginia at home. Those teams are West Virginia's not bad, but the movie we've been seeing would make us all think potentially that won't happen.
JJ, psychologically for this team, Saturday was that had to be a weird feeling starting out, and that we just talked about it a second ago. They did, gave up a touchdown to Kansas State right off the bat. All right, well, you expected to get that, right? Because Kansas State's really good. And then you go down the field and you have the best drive of your whole season, and you score a touchdown, and then they cannot do two good things in a row. That has to beat you down mentally as a team.
Yeah, you're right. And it's interesting because it always pops up in different places, right? It'll on that play where we got the sack fumble, I think Beausoleil got beat, and Blake, I think the veteran, as well as he's playing, I thought he held it too long. I said it on there at the time. When you kind of know the context, right? The context is we're playing a solid defense, a really good team, top 2 or 3 team in the conference. My offensive line is struggling a little bit. We go empty. I can't hold this ball past read 1, read 2, boom, it's got to be out. And he held it for that third tick, and that's when he got hit. So those are the kind of things, man, that just keep cropping up in different places. One week it's a drop on a guy that's wide open. Sometimes it's a guy who doesn't set the edge. This week it was a missed block by our tackle. But he's a young guy. He's going to be a great kid, great player. And then our quarterback makes just one, kind of maybe holds the ball too long. And it's just popping up in different places. And I know it drives everyone crazy, but it drives them and the coaches crazy as well.
JJ, what did you think just defensively? I mean, you gave up 59 points. That wasn't all on the defense, though. I mean, that was obviously some of that was on the offense. But just defensively, where do you just kind of see the vision right now with this football team and where they are here 10 games into the year?
And that's I think that's it's for Aranda, man, to figure that out. One of the challenges making that leap from a defensive coordinator or assistant coach. He's been assistant coach for a long time. The head coach is being able to pull it all together and defining who you want to be. And I think Coach Aranda has a good vision of who he wants to be. The question is who you want to be. Have you married that up with your talent, and have you married that up with your coaching staff? The whole time I never was crazy. I liked that our offense was highly successful in 21. But I always felt, well, we're in the land of quarterbacks and speed, and to go counter to that, it can work. But I thought to go counter to that is a challenge, right? I think we struggled to coach speed. Even when Taekwon was here, we struggled to get him deep. We struggled to get him on anything other than a 13 in or out route, a 13-yard in or out route. And right now, I think we're seeing it is that two of the fastest players, the 3 of the fastest players we have on offense. We could probably count on our hand how many times they've touched the ball over the last few weeks. And I would say those 3 fastest people on our offense are probably Jonah Burton, Monterey Baldwin, and Richard Reese. Now, we can say all we want to say about Richard Reese, but probably those three guys are probably, and I take that back. And what's the young kid named number 18? He's pretty fast too. That they moved to running back.
Jordan Neighbors.
Jordan Neighbors.
Yeah, Jordan Neighbors. Those four kids can really run. Now, Neighbors is young. Jonah Burt is young, but we have a hard time getting the ball. That doesn't happen in the era of football that I'm used to, where your swiftest players, you have a hard time getting them the ball, and we seemingly had a hard time getting those kids the ball on a consistent basis this year.
Yeah, it just seems to me it's hard to do whatever they're doing. It just seems like it's a struggle. I know they had the bounce back first drive or the drive after K-State took the lead.
Right.
And then, then all of a sudden you look up, it's 28-0 or 28-7, 35-7, whatever on top of that.
Smoke, not to cut y'all, Smoke, but what happens is that, like, you'll watch us and we'll have these, like, think about the drive we scored at the beginning, right? I forgot. I think we got a big play. I think we got a 38-yarder. We got something. We got a big play. And so that cut that drive down. Instead of it being an 8-10, it cut it down to maybe a 4 or 5 play drive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you got to make sure you scheme in your speed getting the ball. Because if someone misses a tackle on your speed, they're going to get 30 for you. And it cuts down those drives we're running 12 plays to get a score. And you need those drives to go 6 or 7 plays.
JJ, if you don't mind, we have Ricky on too on Wednesdays, and he's down there on the field. And you guys travel, you're with the team enough. What do you see? Is it a beaten down team in your opinion?
That would be a great question for Ricky on Wednesday. I mean, he's right there with them.
Okay.
I'll go down to some of the pregame smoke, but I thought really to start the game, I thought on Saturday, I actually felt life. I felt like these guys are ready to compete. And I don't think it was just because of the first drive. I thought Kansas State did a good job on their first drive, but I didn't get a feeling that our guys were, lethargic on defense that first drive. I just felt like Kansas State was good, had a good plan coming in, and executed it pretty swiftly. So, that'll be a great question for Rick.
All right. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, no, I think they played hard. I think they just got overpowered by a way better team in the long run. That was just my biggest takeaway. But before we let you go, JJ, thoughts on TCU? Obviously, a big rivalry game. Not good luck there lately, especially the end of last year, heading up to Fort Worth. But they're not quite what they were a year ago. What have you seen from TCU, and just what are your thoughts heading into this game?
Yeah, I've seen the freshmen. I like the freshman quarterback. They're struggling like we are. I thought they played good against Texas. I mean, Texas jumped out on them, and they made a run back on Texas. I thought that was pretty interesting. So they showed fight. But it'll be, I think, a normal rivalry game. Both teams just trying to get a win. Baylor trying to make sure they don't go to a bowl. I would say the only thing I think, Greg, that I don't like about it is this new name they have for it, Smoke.
Oh.
Is this Bluebonnet Bowl. I'm trying to think, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. I know I had someone contact me. I'm going to discuss it with them tonight and do an interview for maybe sometime this week, but I don't even know where that came from. And you hear that maybe that TCU did not want anything rivalry. I don't know the truth. I really don't. Not sure I care, but that does seem to be pretty soft.
It does. And when I saw it, I'm thinking that made me think back to the Bluebonnet Bowl.
Yeah, that was a hell of a bowl game.
But
yeah,
it really was. But there's nothing Bluebonnet, nothing about the game between TCU and Baylor that makes me think Bluebonnets. I guess outside of maybe a little purple in TCU's uniform. That's about it, I guess.
It's always a rousing success when immediately afterwards everybody's pointing the finger as to whose idea it was to come up with the name,
Exactly.
It's like that Spider-Man meme. It's like, no, you.
Yeah.
Hey,
exactly.
There's nothing. It's just there's nothing intimidating about it or exciting. Like for a football fan, like if you just took the name of something and said, "Hey," like for example, the Red River Shootout. Like if you were watching a Western, you'd watch that movie, right? But if you told me I was going to watch the Bluebonnet Battle, I would think you're going to take me to an HGTV show about flowers.
Yeah.
You're right, man. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's gone over very well. JJ,
I hope it doesn't stick. This is one of the things, I hope it does not stick. Let's put it that way.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you coming
Thank you,
on. I
guys.
know it's not easy. Thank you, JJ Joe, radio color analyst.